YouTube, how's it going? Today we're going to be going into my 5th mock draft of the offseason. This is going to be my second to last one. We're going to do one more the day of the draft, which is going to be fun. We might do some fun ones in between there, but this is going to be the last official one that we're going to be doing until the draft, which is just a few weeks away, which is pretty fun. So if you guys do enjoy the mock draft content, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Consider it. It really does help me out a ton. We're almost to 900, which we might be breaking with this video, which will be awesome to see. But also, if you guys do enjoy just NFL football and stuff, please leave a comment down below with your team and who you want to select in this draft. And we'll get right into it. We're not going to waste any more of your time. All right, now before we get into this mock draft, I want to see what you guys are thinking for your teams. Comment down below right now before we get into the mock draft, before you check out your pick. Let me know who you want at your pick. Who's the best selection at your pick? And let's try and make it realistic. You know, if you're a Chiefs fan, don't say Malik Willis or something, you know, like make it something that's, you know, in the right realm of possibility. And then let's discuss, you know, if it's not a pick that's happened in this mock draft, let's discuss how it can happen and stuff in the comment section below. I'm very active in the comments, so please let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And be sure to like the video, of course. But let's get right into this with the first pick, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars, the first time ever taking Travon Walker out of Georgia. Now, I thought long and hard about this, and the reason why I went with Travon Walker is simply his versatility. He's not the most profound edge rusher at this moment, but if he can become that great of an edge rusher as his potential has, him and Josh Allen is going to be similar to what we had with Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead. It's going to be similar to what we had with Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt, with Nick Bosa when he's there with Eric Armstead. I'm trying to think of other edge combinations we have in the league right now that are just crazy good. I mean, Aaron Donald and Von Miller. You know, the list goes on. They really can be that elite of a duo if they progress. But also, he's so good on the interior as well. But his sideline-to-sideline speed, his pursuit, he never gives up on a play. His tackling is sublime. Like, I mean, it's just everything about Travon Walker screams potential. And I think that with Jacksonville, when you're a team that, you know, can you make the playoffs next year? Sure, if you hit on every pick and every guy you paid really lives up to their payday. But in reality, this is still a team in a rebuild that has a year or two, maybe even 3 years until they're really competing. So getting a guy like Travon Walker, allowing him to go through training camp, allowing him to go through the motions and find where his position really lies in the NFL, and just being able to move him around, you know, whether you're going to be in a 3-4 or 4-3, because right now, you know, coaching and stuff, is it set? You know, you just got Doug Peterson coming in and, you know, just had Urban Meyer. No one really knows what's going to be. So I think Travon Walker can kind of fit any scheme and play any kind of defense, no matter what is happening on that field, and he's going to make his impact right away. I think Travon Walker was the biggest riser in this class, from a fringe first rounder at the beginning to now the #1 overall pick. Love this pick for Jacksonville. Jags fans, this is different than what I had for your 7-round mock draft. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Now going over to pick number 2, Aiden Hutchinson, not being the #1 overall pick is going to make him go to number 2 in Detroit, which was a fan favorite pick early on in the draft process, getting Aiden Hutchinson to go to Detroit. I had him there once because I had Kayvon Thibodeaux as the first pick. Before we even move on, how fun is this draft? This is the first draft that truly, you know, in the month of April, I don't know one selection in this draft, truthfully. Every other year, it's like, okay, Trevor Lawrence is pick 1, Zach Wilson's going to go number 2. You know, the year before that, Joe Burrow's going number 1, you know, unless, you know, if Tua didn't get hurt. There's so many times where you could predict the pick pretty easily. I'd say the last time was probably 2018, I believe, is when Baker Mayfield was the first overall pick. That draft class was pretty crazy as well. But yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, man, going to Detroit, every reason that we've already talked about before is the reason why it fits here. Possibly the most talented player at this moment in the class. He can do it all. He doesn't really give up on plays often, which is awesome for an edge rusher. He's got the motor. He's got the versatility to kind of move around. He's going to dominate the edge, absolutely dominate the edge. A lot of people compare him to the Bosas, and I think that's, you know, high praise, obviously. But also going to Detroit, staying in Michigan, and going to Dan Campbell, where he's a leader, Dan Campbell's a leader. I think they're going to mesh very well together, because I truthfully believe Dan Campbell is the future coach for this Detroit franchise. I think he has kind of carved his path there. So getting a guy like Aiden Hutchinson to be that defensive leader, I think would be awesome to replace Trey Flowers on the edge side. and truthfully just wreak havoc in Detroit and start this rebuild and retooling a little bit early. Aiden Hutchinson to Detroit. Here at pick 3, we got another edge rusher coming off the board, 3 in a row. Kayvon Thibodeaux is going off the board to Houston. I think they're not going to overthink this pick. You get the guy with the biggest upside, and he's been the number 1 overall pick for years. Now, he's kind of fallen, but I don't think he's going to fall too far. The talent is just too crazy. He's confident in himself. He says that he's the best player in this draft class. And truthfully, I think he is the best player in this draft class. I think that people are scared off about certain things, and I understand those concerns, but I do think Kayvon Thibodeaux probably has the highest upside in this class with how great he can be. He truthfully can be as good as the top edge rushers in the NFL right now. So going to Houston, replacing what that hole of J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, and such has been, being opposite of Jonathan Grenard. Roy Lopez had a good year in the interior, just being on a solid defensive line, building from the trenches and moving without. Because on the offensive side, they also they got Laremy Tunsil. Titus Howard's probably going to stay at tackle. So you're building from those trenches and you're moving out. So getting Kayvon Thibodeaux here at pick 3 is a solid pick. It's one of the best picks you can make. You're securing that edge rusher. And then you also have another pick in the first round because of the Deshaun Watson trade. I'm loving that. Kayvon Thibodeaux at pick 3. Now moving on to pick 4, I got Ikem Ekwonu going to the New York Jets. Now, the Jets are interesting here because if all the edge rushers are off the board, I think they have to pivot. And this is a possible trade down situation if all the edge rushers are off the board. But they could do a lot of things. Kyle Hamilton's a choice here. They could use some safety help. They could also use some corner help. Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner are definitely options here at pick 4. If they do want to reach for a corner, high in the top 5, which, I think both of those guys are pretty much worth the pick if you believe in them. But also, I think offensive line is still a thing. And the reason I have offensive line instead of tackle is Ikem Ekwonu can play tackle. He can play guard. Now, do you think George Fant is the future at the position? He played very well, but I don't know if he's the future. I think Ikem Ekwonu can be that tackle opposite of Becton, and they can wreak havoc for years and years to come. If you want to run George Fant the first year at tackle, you move Ikem Ekwonu into one of the guard spots. Obviously, you have guys there as well. I think you're just building the trenches even more. There's a lot to do. Vera Tucker is pretty much the only guy that I'm stuck saying, like, this is a guy who's going to be a staple on the line because of concerns with Becton, because offensive line play is opposite as well. Do you believe in other guys and such? There's a lot of different things that can happen, and I like Ikem Ekwonu here. You can move him around, play him wherever. You don't necessarily have to start him right away, but I think that he'll win the spot in training camp. But you're getting a solid offensive tackle who is going to be there for the long term. He's young, and he's going to be a tandem with Mekhi Becton, or if Becton goes down, you pair him with Fant for the year, and you can move on from Becton maybe there. There's a lot of different versatility things to do, but I think you're taking best player available here, and that's Ikem Ekwonu. Possible trade down situation, but I didn't do any trades in this mock draft. I wanted to keep it clean. So Ikem Ekwonu was my pick for the Jets. Jets fans, let me know what you think about that. Pick number 5 here, I have Evan Neal going to the New York Giants. Again, best player available, but also it knocks off a need for the Giants. So getting Evan Neal to pair with Andrew Thomas, that's one of the best young tackle duos you can have in the NFL. Offensive line, we know how big of a need it is for the Giants. So you're going into next season now with Andrew Thomas, probably, let's say, Shane Lemieux at left guard. Center is going to be Feliciano, right guard Glowinski, and then Evan Neal at right tackle. That is a big, big upgrade from what you've had in the past, securing Daniel Jones for a protected season. Who knows if he's going to progress with that season, but sacks have been a problem a lot in his time. Fumbles have been a lot in his time. You're finally getting pieces that are pretty much locks to be very good NFL talents, like Evan Neal. You're getting guys to help, and that is something that is going to be awesome. And you have another pick, just one pick away. So Evan Neal's the first pick for the Giants, and we'll see what they go at pick 7. Pick number 6 here, we're going to be taking Malik Willis, quarterback out of Liberty, my top quarterback. I think he's top 10 talent easily in this draft, if not even top 5. I'm not one of those people who thinks that he's not pro ready. I think he is. I think that every rookie quarterback has growing pains, and they need to go through them. So getting a guy like Malik Willis, you can start him right away in Carolina. The reason I love Carolina as a fit for him, Christian McCaffrey. You have an offense that is centered around this all-dynamic running back when he's on the field. And if he is on the field, that is going to help a young quarterback that is very similar to a Cam Newton type with his feet, where he can move around a lot in the pocket, but also read options and such. So you're getting that with Christian McCaffrey, that versatility to where teams are not going to know what to do, because this guy has a cannon of an arm. He can run the ball. He can do everything that you'd want in a quarterback. People are comparing him to Josh Allen. Now, the size difference is a big difference, but I understand the strong arm and the ability to run. I get that. That is a solid comparison because there's not many quarterbacks that have that. You take that if you're a top 10 team and you need a quarterback, because that upside, that possibility of having a guy who can throw the ball 70 yards deep but can also run the ball at 4.5 speed, that is an amazing, amazing duo that you don't get often in this league. And when you do, those are the teams that elevate quickly. We see what happens with Mahomes and the Chiefs, Josh Allen and the Bills, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. All these teams, Deshaun Watson and the Texans, these teams that take their quarterbacks and they elevate their teams so much more than those guys that, are good, but they're safer quarterbacks. They're not going to be able to do what these guys can do. So you get Malik Willis, you have him throwing to guys, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall, and of course DJ Moore, who is a stud. And you also have a great running back, one of the best, if not the best, in Christian McCaffrey. You're setting him up for success, and he's going to have a solid rookie year, in my opinion. Here at pick 7 for the Giants, I ended up taking Kyle Hamilton. Now, I know that the consensus pick, I think, is going for Sauce Gardner here. But right now, James Bradberry is still on the roster. And you have Bradberry, you have Adoree', you have Darnay Holmes, they are all very good corners in my opinion. And then you have some young guys behind them that can develop more and see what happens with them. But also, this is also a very good corner class in my opinion. I think you can get one in the second round, third round, wherever you want to go from there. There is not a safety prospect like Kyle Hamilton in this class. He is one of one. After that, he is in a tier of his own. So getting a guy like Kyle Hamilton to pair with Xavier McKinney, I love that selection. That is an amazing pairing because McKinney is looking like a superstar in the making at the safety position. Adding a guy like Kyle Hamilton, it just makes it elite because McKinney can really do everything. He's a hybrid. He can lay the stick down, he can tackle, but he's also great in coverage, can make the play on the ball. Kyle Hamilton's the same exact way. So having two guys like that roaming over the top, yeah, this team is going to do a lot in Wink Martindale's system. So I love the Kyle Hamilton selection here. You're getting arguably the best player at both positions you drafted in safety and tackle, and you're getting him at 5 and 7, not having to move up or down or anything. I love those picks for the Giants. I think that is a perfect situation, and I think that this sets up the team for success for the future. Here at pick 8, the first kind of crazy selection of the draft, I have the Falcons selecting Desmond Ridder. You got to realize here, quarterbacks are going to go earlier than we expect because it's the NFL and you have to take a chance on your quarterback. If you like a guy, you have to take your guy. I personally, this is where mock drafts get kind of crazy because I kind of do what I think teams should do or will do, and I kind of mesh them with what I like and what I think they should do, and I kind of meet in the middle and I try and find something. So do I think that the Falcons are going to take a quarterback? I do. I think that they're going to take a quarterback. I think Mariota's going to be that bridge quarterback there for them, and they're going to have a young guy progress and develop because this isn't a season that really you're going to have a lot of success because this team is just not built for it. But you have a young team. You have a lot of young weapons as well. So getting a guy in a rookie quarterback here, no matter who it is, I think is going to help, pair that duo of a young quarterback with a young Kyle Pitts, etc. The reason I have Desmond Ridder is because he's second in my rankings, and I like Desmond Ridder a lot for a lot of different reasons. I think that he is not getting enough love. I think he's starting to get it a lot now. You're seeing Desmond Ridder get a lot more buzz. But Desmond Ridder is my quarterback too, and he really can just do a lot. His placement with the ball is very good. The one thing I love about him, though, is everyone out of Cincinnati talks about how great of a leader he is. And that is a huge trait to have as an NFL quarterback. You need to be able to command the room when you're there, command the huddle, command the offense. It is a lot. And having a guy like Desmond Ridder to learn, behind Mariota, not have to play right away, but also develop on this team where this is still trying to find their identity. They played very well last year for what they have. And, did they downgrade? I wouldn't say they downgraded. You lost Calvin Ridley, but he wasn't really there last year. Russell Gage is gone, which, does hurt, but you replace him with other guys. It's not really the biggest downgrade in my opinion. You still have Kyle Pitts going into year 2. You re-sign Cordero Patterson. Offensive line is still pretty solid. So I think this is a perfect situation for a guy like Desmond Ridder to come in, be the leader of this team. Probably not this season, but going into next season, unless something does happen to Mariota. I think this is the perfect selection for Atlanta. I also can see Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, Matt Corral, whoever it is. I can see them all going here. But I do think quarterback is a good selection here for the Atlanta Falcons. If they do think they're a competing team right now, which I personally don't think that they are, yeah, they could go after a guy like a Sauce Gardner or Derek Stingley, or, go after offensive line help, whatever it may be. Jordan Davis even. But I do have them selecting a quarterback. You don't pick top 10 often. Might as well go and get a guy, and I think Desmond Ridder is that guy. Picking at pick 9, Sauce Gardner comes off the board. Best corner in the class, in my opinion. Seattle needs that lockdown corner. They lost DJ Reed. They lost Shaquille Griffin a year before that. You need to get a corner that can lock down, and especially in a division where you're facing D-Hop twice a year, Cooper Kupp twice a year, Deebo Samuel twice a year. You see where I'm going with this. This is a team that needs defensive help, and they are in a division that is the best in football. This is a young team. I don't expect them to do too much this year, especially with Russell Wilson gone, but Sauce Gardner, I do think, is elite. His production is, bar none, some of the most impressive footage we've ever seen in college football. He's one of the most impressive corners to ever play college football because of how he's never allowed a touchdown. I mean, that is insane. He's never allowed a touchdown. He rarely allows yards. People don't throw his way. He is elite. There's not much more to say about Ahmad Gardner, Sauce Gardner. You don't get the nickname Sauce without being really good. And Sauce is, it's such a great nickname too. Going to Seattle, Sauce in Seattle. Let's make it happen. Here at pick 10, I got the New York Jets selecting Derek Stingley. You get Ikem Ekwonu, you get Derek Stingley. Both sides of the ball are getting addressed there. Yeah, Stingley, in my opinion, is a little bit overly criticized. His availability is definitely what it is. He wasn't on the field as much as you wanted him to be since his year one, but year one he was arguably the best player and the number 1 overall pick in the draft because of how elite he was his first year at LSU. And the LSU program has taken a big step back since that year. It's not like they are as great of a team as they've been. They definitely need to retool. They have not been LSU as we remember them. So we have to see what happens with the school. But Stingley, injuries and stuff, they happen and they suck. But as long as he's healthy, I'm taking him as a top 10 player because he can be that elite corner. And I think that the Jets getting that with DJ Reed, with Breece Hall, and everybody else in that DB room, Michael Carter II, Guidry, there's a lot of guys there that are very good. Eccles as well, that a lot of people don't know about. So getting Stingley to be that, elite of the elite with Reed and Hall, those are your big 3. That is a very good corner room, and I think that's going to be awesome. A lot of those guys, you can move them around to safety and such as well, see where they all play the best. But this is an awesome selection for the Jets. I think that Stingley, if he lives up to the hype, man, it's going to be fun to watch. Here at pick 11, 3 corners coming off the board in a row. Trent McDuffie going over to Washington. I have McDuffie right behind these guys in the rankings. They are neck and neck. McDuffie is not getting enough shine for how great of a corner he is. He pretty much does everything right. He's a little bit undersized, which it's not even by much, but it's just how some people view it. And I don't view it as that. He can play safety. He can play corner. He can pretty much do everything. He is very good at attacking the ball and making tackles on the play. He can play the ball as well. He's good in man coverage, zone coverage. He pretty much can do everything that you want. And he's going into a situation where he's not expected to be this star like Sauce Gardner is going to be put into, like Derek Stingley is kind of going into. You're getting McDuffie to go and be the number 2 or even the number 3 behind Will Jack and Kendall Fuller. He's going to be able to play well. He can play some safety first year. There's a lot of things he can do, but this secondary, I think, needs a lot of help, and it kind of got exposed last year for what it was because year one with Chase Young was amazing because that D-line it doesn't need you. You don't need to have a secondary when you had that D-line because they really did wreak havoc enough to make plays. But when that is not possible, Chase Young went down with injury and such, it showed a lot more last season. So getting some help there is something that I definitely am interested in. You could go receiver here, but again, this is such a deep receiver class. It's such a good receiver class. My personal opinion is they're going to fall a little bit more than we think. It's very similar to what we had with the CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs year, where everyone's like, man, these guys are all top 10 talents. They're top 10. And then we didn't even see CeeDee Lamb go until, pick 18? which he was the third receiver off the board when he's my number 1 receiver, top 10 talent. Receivers just, I think they're going to fall down a little bit because of how good there are. Where would you rather get a Trent McDuffie and a Sky Moore in the second round, or would you rather get a Garrett Wilson here and go into the next round and have to settle for a Darion Kendrick? What's the better duo? It's up to you. There's a bunch of different ways you can go, but Trent McDuffie's my selection here. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I just want to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy really quick. The NFL season's over, but you can still draft a new fantasy team on Underdog Fantasy and win cash prizes. They have a slick mobile app and a user-friendly site. You can also join a league and draft a team in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog are helping you guys out that are watching the video by matching up to $100 on your first deposit for new users when you use code SORMANI, SORMANI. So just go to UnderdogFantasy.com or go download the App Store or the Google Play Store. Sign up with the code SORMANI, that's SORMANI, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit all the way up into $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SORMANI, SORMANI. Now let's get back to this video. Now at pick 12, I have Jordan Davis, the huge defensive tackle, nose tackle, going off the board from Georgia to Minnesota. The top 3 corners are off the board. Kyle Hamilton's off the board. So secondary is not really too much of an option here for the Minnesota Vikings. And that's okay because they need some help in that interior defensive line play. When you're looking at it, Michael Pierce did not live up to what he was supposed to in Minnesota, and he's now back with the Baltimore Ravens, I believe. So when you look at that, it's pretty simple to see. They were not good against the run. They were not good in the interior, and they need to get better at that. And now you're getting the best guy to stop the run, to literally take up 2 linemen every single play with his size and his ability. I'm absolutely in love with Jordan Davis as a prospect. He's one of my favorites in this class. I truthfully believe that he's a lot better than people are even giving him credit for. People are saying that he can't rush the passer and he can't do this, he can't do that. I think that he can do a lot more. He just hasn't been able to show it because in reality, Georgia was not on defense much. Their defense pretty much made 3 and outs for every team pretty quickly. So Jordan Davis is the selection, the second Georgia lineman off the board, and I'm sure we're going to see more come off the board. This is a stacked Georgia team. Jordan Davis off the board here at 12. Going on to pick 13, Zion Johnson is going to be the selection here from Boston College. I think he is the best guard in this class. I think he's one of the best linemen in this class. And the reason I like him here is I always take notes from what fans are saying about their teams, because as much as I get involved with the team and I try and figure out, what the team needs and how they're perceived and such, I'm never going to be as diehard as a diehard fan is going to be. So going into the Houston 7-round mock draft series that I had, I'm pretty sure I had them taking a tackle in their first pick. And a lot of people are saying, man, Tytus Howard, you have to know that he is not going to be good at guard. And I just kind of placed him at guard. And I, going through and looking at it and realizing how this mock draft was going so far, I'm like, well, perfect. Tytus Howard's better at tackle. He played tackle at the end of the season. He looked pretty good. So let's have Laramie Tunsil and Tytus Howard as the tackles. And let's get a guy like Zion Johnson to go into that interior and just absolutely maul from the interior. I think it's a perfect solution for both situations. You help out that offensive line. You help out Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks, and Nico Collins, and Brevin Jordan, and everybody else. They're going to get some help here, but also on top of that, Marlon Mack or whoever else goes into this running back room is going to have some fun running the ball behind Zion Johnson in this offensive line. The interior and the outside is going to be all open. I love Zion Johnson here at pick 13. Here at pick 14, Jermaine Johnson falls down the board, and that is going to be awesome for Baltimore because they have a lot of different things they can go with, offensive line help, etc. But Jermaine Johnson's the selection here. He is one of the best edge rushers in this class. I have him as a fringe top 10 player, so falling to 14 is awesome. He is going to dominate off the edge where, Pernell McPhee has been playing, and, this team has been getting older and older every single year. But without Wink Martindale, who really had a scheme where it was more quantity over quality, I think now you're going into this year where you want the best players on the field because, you can't replace Wink Martindale in one season. He's that great of a defensive mind. So getting Jermaine Johnson to play on that edge opposite of Odafe Owe and just dominate. I really like Jermaine Johnson a lot in this class. He's one of my favorite players in this class. He's going to dominate on the edge, and it's going to be fun to see. And Baltimore should never be picking in the top 15 for a long time. Lamar Jackson's injury really did set them back. But Jermaine Johnson going to Baltimore. Baltimore fans, let me know what you think about it. I think it's a steal. Here at pick 15, we got Andrew Booth Jr., the corner out of Clemson, going to Philly. Philly saw the run on corners early on. You got all the top 3 guys go, and really, I think Andrew Booth is the next guy, and then Kyer Elam is the last guy in that tier for me, and he's kind of fringe in that tier for me. So Andrew Booth is going to go at 15. You need a corner help. Slay is not getting any younger, even though I think he is elite still. Getting some more help at that defensive side, I think is just the best case scenario here for Philly. You traded with New Orleans, so I think that there's a plan in place, and I'm not sure what that plan is. But again, this is a team that you look at what's on the board still. Corner is probably going to go off the board by your next pick if you don't take one here. So I really do like Andrew Booth going off the board here and pairing him with Darius Slay to be that 1-2 combo in Philadelphia. There's a lot of different things you can do here. Linebacker, receiver, bunch of different things you can do. But I have Andrew Booth going at 15. Here at pick 16, we're not doing any trades. So if the Saints traded just to make another trade, we're not going to know about it unless it happens officially. We're going to be taking Charles Cross here. He fell down a little bit on the board for some people. But, yeah, New Orleans made a trade, and there's rumors that they want 2 solid starting caliber players right now because they believe they can play right now. And I understand it. I think they have a very solid team still, and I think people aren't giving them enough credit for that. But Charles Cross is going to step in and be that Terron Armstead replacement, and you hope he can be that replacement. Those are huge shoes to fill. Armstead's arguably the best tackle in football. He's one of the best, if not the best. So you're getting a guy in Charles Cross to protect Jameis Winston, to protect Alvin Kamara if he's able to play, and just be able to do a lot more. You're getting Michael Thomas back. This is an offense that is going to air the ball out a lot. You're getting one of the best pass protectors in the NFL draft this year. I think it's a perfect selection for the Saints here at 16. It helps them in this win-now mentality. I think that's where they're at. New Orleans picking at 16, Charles Cross. Now we got Trevor Penning going off the board here, back-to-back tackles. I'm really loving Trevor Penning going to San Diego and pairing with Rashawn Slater. I just think it fits perfectly. You're protecting your investment in Justin Herbert. You're getting the offensive line to be even better than it is. There's really no wrong here. You could do a lot of different things for the Chargers, but I really do like Trevor Penning going off the board here. Again, just protecting that investment in Herbert. They're really trying to make this run. They made a lot of moves to try and compete this next season in a crazy division. You need to protect your quarterback, and that's what Trevor Penning's going to do out of Northern Iowa. Not much more to say, Chargers fans. You're not picking top 20 next year. This team is too good. Going on to pick 18, I have the Philadelphia Eagles back on the board, and they're going to be selecting Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. I really wanted to go receiver here because, again, we haven't seen one off the board yet. But Devin Lloyd and linebacker is too big of a need for Philly that they pass up on too often. And, again, this is a class where I think that receivers are going to start to slip down, and it's okay. It really is. It's okay that it happens. But Devin Lloyd, being a linebacker, helping out, is going to be huge for Philadelphia. Now you got help in the secondary. You got help in the front seven. This is going to be a great defense. And when you look at it, that's what got them a Super Bowl. It was an elite defense and an offense that was able to put points on the board. Well, this offense is able to put points on the board. You need that elite defense. And that's what they're going to be doing. This is a team that made the playoffs last year. So Philadelphia going at pick 18 with Devin Lloyd. I'm loving the selection there. I think linebacker is finally getting addressed this year. Eagles fans rejoice. Now we got over to pick 19, and Chris Olave is going to end up being our first receiver taken off the board. He's my top receiver. He also just fits this situation perfectly in New Orleans. You got an offensive lineman, and you have a quarterback that loves to air the ball out and has a great deep ball arm. You already have Michael Thomas, who is that big, receiver who route runs very well. Why not get the best route runner in the class and my top receiver in this class in Chris Olave to pair alongside him? You have Marquez Callaway to be a deep threat. You have Traquan Smith to be there as well. There's a lot of different situations you can do with this offense now. Kamara is still in the backfield, hopefully, but Chris Olave just fits this team so well. I really do love what you can get out of him. Pairing him with Michael Thomas, another Ohio State alumni, I think this is a perfect selection. There's not much more I could say. I'd be so excited to see what this New Orleans offense looks like if they got a guy like Chris Olave to pair alongside Charles Cross. Now here at pick 20, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh. Trubisky, as much as I do like Trubisky, I think that he's been a little bit overly ridiculed for, his lackluster play. I I think that he has a good shot in Pittsburgh, but I don't think it's going to be a long-term one. You get a guy like Kenny Pickett who falls into your lap here at pick 20, and you see what he can do. You know, if you let him battle in preseason, maybe he battles out Trubisky, and Trubisky's the backup, and that's okay. But Kenny Pickett, I think he plays very well. He can do a lot of things. The hand size worries me. The gloves worry me. How high is his ceiling? You know, right now he sadly it has to be compared to Teddy Bridgewater, where he is a decent quarterback. He's a fringe starter, but the hand size, the gloves and such, they do hinder. So I'm not the biggest fan of Kenny Pickett, but also I do respect him as a first rounder. And I think that going to Pittsburgh, where really you can't get much worse than what Big Ben was doing last season, I think he can do a lot more. You know, he can air the ball out a little bit more. He's going to make some mistakes, definitely. I think it's going to be a rough rookie season if he does play, but getting a rookie quarterback here at pick 20, you know, hopefully getting a franchise quarterback, that's what you're hoping in Kenny Pickett. I think it's a good selection here. Offensive line is still a need. You know, Linderbaum, Kenyon Green are both on the board still. So those are guys that I definitely look at as well. But sometimes when you don't have a franchise QB, you've had one for 20 plus years, you need to try and replace that. And that's what Kenny Pickett's going to try to do. Now here at pick 21, we got Garrett Wilson coming off the board here to the New England Patriots. Insane vertical, truthfully. Just one of the best verticals I've seen. He can pretty much do it all. He's an all-around guy. There's not much to say about Garrett Wilson other than just he is a baller. A lot of people have him as their wide receiver 1. I have him just inches, centimeters below Chris Olave, in my opinion. But going to New England, you're pairing him with Jacoby Myers and, you know, Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. This is a receiver room that could definitely use that number 1 option. I think Garrett Wilson can become that number 1 option here at pick 21. I think Mac Jones, getting him some more weapons, can help him out a ton in his development as well. And yeah, there's not much in this draft right now on the board that is more of a need than wide receiver might be to this team. So why not go after Garrett Wilson and get one of the best premier receivers in this draft class? Now going over to pick 22, the Packers are taking a wide receiver. Who would have thought? It might not even happen because we know it just never does. But if they do, Jameson Williams out of Alabama, man, will he be fun to watch in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is the best receiver in the class without the injury, and because of it, we have to rank him down a little bit more. But pairing him with Aaron Rodgers when he is healthy, obviously, I think it's going to be some of the most fun football you can watch. He's going to go in and try and fill those Devontae Adams shoes, but in reality, he's just going to be a piece of this offense to start off, and we'll see how good he can do when he gets on the field. But Jameson Williams is going to step into a team that desperately needs receiver help, and please, please, Packers, take a receiver. Jameson Williams is off the board. Now here at pick 23, I got the Arizona Cardinals selecting George Karlaftis out of Purdue. Powerful edge rusher to pair alongside J.J. Watt. Replace Chandler Jones. Secondary is definitely a need as well, but again, those corners really came off the board already, unless you want to take a Kyer Elam here, but I think Karlaftis has top 20 talent, so getting him a little bit outside of the top 20 is an awesome selection here. Powerful, his arms aren't the longest, which it can be a problem, especially at the next level where some of these offensive linemen got some long arms, but I think with his power, his get-off, his abilities, I really do think he has the motor and the will and the drive to become great, and I think that's what he's going to do in a team like Arizona, which people forget how great Arizona was last year before DeAndre Hopkins got hurt. That really was a big mistake. Was with DeAndre Hopkins getting hurt, there wasn't really much to do on that offense, and it showed. So getting Karlaftis is going to replace that Chandler Jones situation and hopefully keep this team as good as they are in one of the best divisions in football. Now here at pick 24, I got Kenyon Green coming off the board here for the Dallas Cowboys. Connor Williams was not the answer for Dallas, and Dallas fans will let you know. Lyle Collins is gone now. This offensive line needs some retooling, and I think this is perfect because Dallas is built in the offensive line department. It is the recipe for their success over all these years was having such a good offensive line. And when they don't have a good offensive line or when the offensive line is hurt, everyone knows about it. Everyone knows about it. So getting a guy like Kenyon Green, you're pairing him, now you have a line of Tyron Smith, Kenyon Green, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele. That's a great offensive line, and it really does help out a ton. I just love the Kenyon Green selection here. I think it's the perfect pick, and it's also a hint towards tomorrow's mock draft, where keep your eyes out, Dallas Cowboys fans, because yours is coming out tomorrow. Going on to pick number 25, kind of the craziest pick of this draft, in my opinion. I have the Bills selecting Breece Hall, running back out of Iowa State, in the first round. I know, it's crazy. Bills fans, let me know what you think about this one. This one, it's more of an experiment. I do like the selection. I like the fit a lot, but I want to know what you guys think about it. Because taking a running back first round, especially in a draft like this where there is no, superstar running back like a Saquon or one of those guys, McCaffrey, Fournette, those Zeke, those top tier guys. But Breece Hall really does have that kind of ability. When you look at what he was, Next Gen rated him as a 99 overall. That's how good of a prospect he is. He is the best prospect in this class, according to them. And that's a lot of praise. That's a huge amount of praise. But when you look at Buffalo, do I like Singletary? I do. I think Singletary's good, and I think he'll be a perfect number 2 option here. I'm not a big fan of Zach Moss. I don't think that he's going to pan out like people thought he might. But Breece Hall is going to be an elite running back. I really do believe that. So getting him here in the first round, although it is a bit of a reach to go first round running back in this draft class, he's got the talent. He definitely does. And when you're picking late in the first round, and really this team doesn't have many needs, they have things that they can help out on: defensive line, corner, receiver. There's things that you can add to. Why not get an elite running back to pair alongside Josh Allen? And now you have an elite run game instead of just a decent run game. And you pairing that with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox in the pass game with Josh Allen. Oh my gosh. That just seems like so much fun. So let me know what you guys think about it. It's definitely more of a trial and error kind of situation. I'm not sure if it'll happen, but I really do like the fit of Breece Hall going to Buffalo. Now at pick 26, I got Tyler Smith, offensive tackle out of Tulsa, going to Tennessee. This is a guy who's rising on boards a lot, and he's sneaking in the first round for me. Tennessee is a team that definitely needs help on that offensive line department. Smith can play interior or outside on the offensive line. He's a big boy. You can see it in the picture. He is huge. So getting him to add to this offensive line with Taylor Lewan and company, I think it's going to help out a ton for Henry and Tannehill. Because Henry, when he's able to ramp up, it's great. But I want to see him make an impact right away. And getting some bigger holes and better offensive line help can help out a ton for Derrick Henry. So Tyler Smith, not much more to say about it. Good fit there in Tennessee. Now at pick 27, we have Tyler Linderbaum going off the board here to Tampa Bay. Ryan Jensen's back, but again, can you move Linderbaum or Jensen? Definitely you can. I'm not a big fan of Linderbaum moving outside of center. I think he is just a pure center in my opinion, but he is a great center, and that truthfully is what he is. So getting him here to Tampa Bay, where I've seen a lot of people kind of get him around this range. Linderbaum's not falling because of his talent. He's falling because of his ability to play center, and center's just not as big of a need as other positions are nowadays. So what you're getting in Linderbaum is one of the best center prospects we've seen in a long time. And whether he plays right away or not is up to you, but Tom Brady's getting some extra help, and that is everything you could want. There's not much more that you could want for a team like Tampa Bay, where we know how great they're going to be. Tyler Linderbaum going pick 27. Then we got at pick 28. We have the Green Bay Packers with their second selection. They're going to be taking Devontae Wyatt, defensive lineman out of Georgia. Another defensive lineman out of Georgia. This team is just great. And if you count Jermaine Johnson, who used to play there, that's 4 already off the board. But Devontae Wyatt is arguably as good as Jordan Davis. He can do a lot more than Jordan Davis can at the current moment. Again, I have a lot more high praise for Jordan Davis than others do. But you need help on this defensive line. And, Kenny Clark can't do it all. Zadarius Smith is now not on the team anymore. So getting some more help to get pressure and such is a big need for this Green Bay Packers team. You already got a receiver, so get a guy like Devontae Wyatt to help out on the D-line, create more pressure, just do more and help out a ton. I really do like that pick for the Packers, because Devontae Wyatt falling all the way to 28, that'd be amazing. Now for the Chiefs, 2 selections. We're starting them off with Daxton Hill. I think he's the perfect situation for Hill and the Chiefs, replacing Tyrann Mathieu there. Now you have Justin Reed and Daxton Hill to play safety and help out the secondary that really has just been struggling for years and years to come. I think this is a team in Kansas City that's retooling. They very much were based around, hey, our offense is elite. No one's going to stop that, so let's not worry too much about the defense. Now, Tyreek Hill's not there. You kind of got to worry about the defense a little bit more now, I think. So Daxton Hill is going to help out that safety situation, and we have one more pick for the Chiefs, and we're just going to get right to it as well. Kaiir Elam is that next selection. So you're getting one of the better corners in this draft, and you're getting one of the better safeties in this class. You're helping out that secondary on both levels. I think that's a perfect situation for this Chiefs team. You got L'Jarius Sneed and Kaiir Elam now. You have Justin Reed, and you have Daxton Hill. That is very good, play from both sides, from the guys that have already been implemented in the system and guys that are coming into this system. I really do like the fit for both of these guys. I think the Chiefs are retooling very well there. They could also go receiver. There are definitely guys there that they could go with, but I really do like what they have. I really do. So Kaiir Elam and Daxton Hill, let me know what you guys think about it. Should receiver be an option for them as well? Here at pick 31, we have Kyler Gordon, the corner out of Washington, going to Cincinnati. You got Eli Apple on a one-year deal, and in reality, he didn't play so amazing that he's going to get a long-term extension after this season. Kyler Gordon can be one of the better corners in this class. He was a little bit overshadowed by Trent McDuffie, but what Kyler Gordon does the best is what you're seeing on the screen is his ball skills. He is able to track down and make plays on the ball like no other. He is really, really good at that. And I think that's going to be perfect to pair with the secondary that we already have in Cincinnati. With Trey Waynes, I believe Trey Waynes is still there. I don't think they cut him yet, but Trey Waynes, if he's still there, and obviously Mike Hilton, who had a very good year last year. So Kyler Gordon being that bigger corner on the outside, I would really love to see that. Cincinnati just getting more help and trying to run it back next season. And with the last selection in this first round mock draft, or mock draft 5.0, it's going to be Drake London going to the Detroit Lions. A big slot receiver, basically, to me. Can make some plays after the catch, which is awesome to see as well. But when you're looking at what he can do, you're pairing him alongside his USC teammate, his former USC teammate in Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're getting Jared Goff some weapons, and you already have a defensive leader in Aiden Hutchinson early on in the draft. Now you're getting just the best receiver available still on the board here at pick 32. I really do like this. And you got a pick coming up in just 2 picks away. So Detroit, you're in a good situation here with this draft, coming away with 2 very talented players. And I'm loving this for Detroit. So that is going to be it for this mock draft. I hope you guys did enjoy. A lot of crazy picks in there. A lot of just, picks that are consensus as well. Let me know what you think about your team selection in the comment section below. Of course, go ahead and check out Underdog Fantasy with code Sormani. That's SORMANI. And they'll match that first deposit up to $100 for all your baseball and football needs, whatever you want to do. But without further ado, that is going to be for me. Like I said, if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave it a like. If you didn't, just refresh the page and let me know what you think about it the second time. Because without further ado, that's going to be it for me. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
How you talking 50K? How you talking making plays or just talking? Yeah. I do this shit here on my own time. Time is money, so I did it on my own dime. Word to Bookie, yeah, that's homage. Gave me game. Yeah, he taught me family ties. Quick to back there, off me. Nah, I can't wait for you.